I'm Gopinath Das, a physician here in Boulder, Colorado. I'm board certified in internal medicine and integrative holistic medicine. The Vedas inform us that this body is just not a physical structure because of its capacity to resolve imbalances and heal spontaneously to the degree we are aligned to the higher self. Modern medical science is verifying these concepts, and consciousness-based approaches are already revolutionizing healthcare. We recently concluded the audible chanting of the Hare Krsna Maha Mantra has the power to protect us against chronic disease and also improve our power of self-regulation, which is a marker of long-term wellness. This first of its kind clinical scientific study was done among healthy American volunteers who had no prior experience with mantra meditation here at the Prabhupada Research Institute for Integrative Medicine.
Hi, Leah.
Hello.
Thanks for coming over.
Thank you.
And thank you for participating in the research study.
Of course.
And can you please explain in layman's terms what was the study all about?
Yeah, so the research study that I participated in was studying the effects of mantra meditation on the physical body. And so the procedure was to spend 30 minutes each day chanting the Hare Krsna Mantra aloud using a set of mala beads. And so that allowed us to track how long we were doing our mantra practice, and it allowed us to sort of tie in the spiritual and the scientific aspect of chanting.
Okay. What were the procedures followed?
So each day, typically I would do it when I was walking my dog, for example, but each day I chanted the Hare Krsna Mantra aloud, and then for 30 minutes, and then I noticed throughout my walks and then throughout the day that my overall optimism, my overall appreciation for the little things like the leaves changing colors or the birds, that was heightened when I was chanting. And so I felt more tuned in and more connected after I had spent that time meditating in that way, chanting.
So you were chanting on some beads or?
Yep. So we were all of the participants were given a set of mala beads to count on, and that was actually one of the biggest benefits that I got from the research, was learning the importance of using malas as a tool. So I went ahead and actually made my own, because I still find this to be a very useful, what I consider a spiritual timer, where if I want to go meditate or if I want to chant and I don't want to say 30 minutes or set a timer, I can just go and I can chant on my mala and know that I've done it for, X amount of time just by knowing how many beads I've chanted on. So there were certain parts of the study, including the chanting and including the mindfulness and the mala, that I've really been able to weave into my daily meditation practice that I found very helpful.
Okay, thank you. What was your experience before and after?
So I did this research, I participated in the study in the fall, and typically the changing months can be difficult for me as it goes from fall to winter. And so I noticed that I struggled less physically and mentally with the changing seasons, simply because I was being more mindful of the beauty of fall. And that made me sort of a little bit less anxious for winter. So overall, my optimism and my appreciation rose. I feel my spirituality certainly benefited as well from taking the time to commit to this form of meditation. And then also trying a new meditation technique. It's very simple to just sit there, close your eyes, and meditate if that works for you, but trying new meditation
Hey Brian, thanks for coming over today. I just wanted to find out what was this mantra meditation study was all about. What was done in the study, just for a lay person to understand what you underwent. Can you please narrate what was
From
this?
start to finish?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, from the way start, you were handing out flyers looking for people at one of our community events, and I volunteered and fulfilled the criteria, I guess, and read over the disclosures and all the things that were necessary prior to starting, and understood the commitments that I needed to make when it came to time to do my mantras and time to check in with you and figure that out. And so we initiated it with that first meeting and received my mala beads and kind of went into it and did my first chant with you, which was obviously the most difficult to kind of get down and understand. But as going through the process and even checking in, really became obviously my own mantra, and that, you know, your own cadence. I found what was fun sometimes checking in with you was we would play off each other's cadence, and it was interesting because obviously I'm doing all the mantra by myself. And the idea behind the mantra was obviously because you were checking on my HRV, which is the heart rate variable, which from my understanding is basically my heart rate period between beats. And the idea is to utilize the mantra to really kind of set your body's tone to start to defend against everything and anything from everyday stress to, you know, illnesses and whatnot. From my understanding and from going through this process and checking in, my data personally, as we looked at the end, was quite substantial, which was really interesting to me. And I found for myself, beyond what could be measured with a computer, utilizing it and really finding my own life kind of coming into a pace. I was even telling you recently that I find even today, the more I chant, the better my week's going, the better I'm feeling, the better things are kind of rolling. And when I'm not chanting as much, you feel it. So it's been a really great impact, and I still carry my mala beads with me in the car every day.
Wow.
And I use them all the time.
So what was your experience like before and after? How do you find your life change or?
Yeah. You know, before I've practiced meditation in the respects of sitting in silence or cross-legged for extended periods of time, trying to clear your head. Obviously, this is a different idea with that, and I didn't attach as much to that, but I was looking and trying to learn more and was open-minded. And, you know, frankly, when I first started doing the chanting, I was like, I'm not sure if this is going to be for me. And funny enough, here at the end, it's definitely for me. So my experience was really overwhelmingly positive, a lot higher than I expected. I mean, I went in with open mind and hoped that it would work, but I had my doubts in that first week, and I don't have my doubts.
Wow. Hey, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brian.